You know, Rob, yesterday was my birthday.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, self, what do I really want to do on my birthday evening? I thought, no, I'll go see that new Scream movie.
Yowza.
Now look, just full disclosure, I'm not the biggest Scream fan of the franchise as a whole, right? Like, I liked the first film like everybody else did. And then I didn't like any of the other ones until Scream 5, the first one with Jenna Ortega. I had a lot of fun with Scream 5. To me, it was the bloodlines of the Final Destination. It was the Final Destination bloodlines of the Scream franchise.
You didn't love the first one, though?
No, that's what I said right off the top. I liked the first one. I really liked the first one. It was a very interesting kind of examination of the genre. It did some very creative things. I liked it. I really did. I didn't like 2, 3, or 4, but then 5 came along and I really had a good time with it. 6 wasn't so great. It wasn't terrible, but 6 wasn't so great. So here along comes 7. And they make the great move of bringing back Neve Campbell, who, let's face it, is Scream. Neve Campbell is Scream.
She is.
So bringing her back. So Ann and I go off last night to watch Scream 7. All right. I'm going to warn all of you guys now. I am going to go into full spoiler detail on this. Well, not full spoiler detail, but I'm going to go into a lot of spoilers. Okay? You know why? Because I don't fucking care. This movie is one of the biggest pieces of shit I have ever seen. As a matter of fact, I was telling Rob before the show started, for the first time in 22 years, I have changed my unholy trinity of the worst wide release films in cinematic history list. For 22 years, it has been the same 3 films. It has been Battlefield Earth in no particular order, Highlander 2, and Halle Berry's Catwoman. That for 22 years, unchanged, as the unholy trinity. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I am here today to tell you for the first time in 22 years that list has been changed, and that Halle Berry's Catwoman is no longer on the list. The unholy trinity now comprises of, again in no particular order, Battlefield Earth, Highlander 2, and shitty Scream 7. That's how bad this movie is. I actually love IndieWire's headline on this. You know how they say, do you like scary movies? IndieWire's headline reads, Scream 7, do you like shitty movies? And listen, I think you can make Scream movies for the next 50 years. It's such a brain dead, easy to do, but not easy to do well, but it's an easy concept. Somebody else random puts on the Ghostface thing and starts killing people, and now you've got an avenue and a vehicle just to show some really fun, brutal kills. And I'll say this for Scream 7, there's a couple of pretty gory kills. There are. That takes up, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes of the 2-hour run. This movie should have been like 85 minutes. 85 minutes. It was over 2 hours. And I have a list of grievances, Rob. It's time for airing of the grievances. And again, let me give you guys some warning. I'm going to go into spoilery detail on this. You know why? Because none of you should go see this thing. None of you. I would rather jack off with sandpaper. No. I would rather watch Madam Web again. No. I would rather do a marathon of Madam Web, Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter than ever watch this piece of garbage again. Okay, first of all, and listen, it's all about everything that you can do wrong, they do in a movie. My wife, dude, was turning to me like 50 times through the movie, it's like, that would not happen. How does that happen? How does it make any sense at that? And I'm like, and like half of the movie, I just have my head like this, like, oh my God, this is one of, in the worst movies I've ever watched, what I never say is I could have, what all other film fans all the time say, I could have made a better movie than that. No, you couldn't have, and neither could I. Until I saw Scream 7. I could have made a better movie than this. And that is saying something. Okay, so like, just Rob, because I know you didn't bless yourself by seeing this movie. I know you didn't give yourself the blessing.
No.
But let me give you some examples.
Or the benediction.
Let me give you some examples. Okay, let me give you some examples. First of all, it starts off with, in very classic Scream form, you see it in the trailers. This couple goes to the actual Sidney's original house. What's the name of the town they're in? Woodsboro or something like that is the name of the original town of Scream. Anyway, they go to the original house that is now some kind of Airbnb. And they're not important to the story. It's just that that's where the new Ghostface killer makes his first kills. Okay, you see that in the trailer. Should have been done in about 5 minutes. It felt like it was 98 minutes long, this opening scene. It was so unnecessarily dragged out and overly long and boring and dumb. And it's just like, oh my God, like how stupid can these people be? And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So anyway, then they get this scene where like the new Ghostface killer breaks into the high school, right? And he like kills Nev Campbell is the main character of the movie. But the second main character of the movie is her daughter. Okay. Her daughter's the second main character of the movie. And the Ghostface killer kills the daughter's best friend in high school, right? She's like doing a drama class where she's a fairy and she's hanging by fly wires over the stage. And the Ghostface killer cuts her belly open and her intestines all spill out, right? Anyway, and he kills another kid too. And so Sidney's daughter sees her best friend dead, right? And they're all sitting in the theater going, just looking at this dead body going, oh, wow, what's going on? And meanwhile, Sidney's daughter has a boyfriend and she's like, oh, let's all go. And Sidney says, yeah, but your boyfriend can't come, just the family. And this girl who just saw her dead friend with her intestines spilling out from her vagina to her thorax is like, the only thing on her mind is, Mom, why are you so mean to my boyfriend? I'm like, come on, teenagers are stupid. By the way, all the teenagers in this movie look like they're 40. I mean, maybe not 40. And listen, let's not pretend that Scream is the only movie that gets much older actors to play teenagers. They're not. They're absolutely not the only ones. But I don't think there was any of them that were like under 25 and a couple of them pushing into their 30s. And anyway, my wife is sitting there with me saying, all these kids look like they have kids. I'm like, yeah, but that's whatever. So like, there's that thing. But then, okay, so the local police, Sidney, by the way, is now married to the police chief, by the way. She's married to the police chief, who's played by Joel McHale. And so they just had this brutal murder at the high school, and they know this is Sidney, right? This is Sidney Prescott. So what happens is, and this is the chief of police, right? It's his family. So they go back home after the killings of the high school. I shit you not. This crack squad of police go, wait a minute, chief. Let us, the cops, let us, your cops. We got to go into the house and clear the house first. We got to clear the house. They literally, this scene, I swear to God, they're all standing in the doorway. The cops walk past them to go in to sweep the house. And 3 seconds later, no camera cut, no edit. 3 seconds later, they come walking out. Okay, all clear. I'm like, what the fuck? Did you just look in the closet? All clear, chief. Everything's good. And as soon as they do, they come in the house and the camera angle clearly shows this giant hatchway to an attic. Guess who comes out of the attic, Rob? The Ghostface killer, because this crack team of cops that had to go in and sweep the house thought, you know what we know about serial killers? They don't like to climb. I'm sure we don't have to look in this giant hatch leading up to an obvious attic. We don't need to look in there. No, no, no. It's too chill up there. They're not going to go up there. Not at all. And so anyway, then, so there's that. There's that. Then there's another killing, right? There's another killing. So now you flash back, you go back to the house where, Joel McHale's in the house, right? And you figured because of all these killings, Sidney Prescott, we got serial killers on the loose. A little bit earlier in the movie, they show that the police are going to guard the house, right? The police are going to guard the house. That's the chief of police. That's Sidney Prescott, Ghostface killer. Got to guard the house. Without any explanation, Joel McHale's just hanging out in the house and the Ghostface killer's in the house again. Just there. I'm like, what happened to all the police that were supposed to be outside? By the way, I'm not sure what town they're supposed to be in now. They're not back in Westbourne or whatever the original thing is. They're no longer Westboro. They're no longer in New York, which they reference the events that happened in New York a couple of times. She's now living in, I don't know, Anal Tickle, Indiana. I don't know the name of the town they're in. It doesn't matter.
I live in that town.
Anal Tickle, population U. So here we go. So, but I don't know. But when the police announce a curfew, I get it. There's a curfew. The town becomes a literal ghost town. It becomes a literal ghost town. Now, here's one of the things that went way over the edge for me, like way over the edge for me, right? There's this scene where Gail, Courtney Cox, and Sidney are trying to lure out the Ghostface killer, who apparently is Stu. It's Stu. Matthew Illard is back as Stu, and he's calling them on FaceTime going, I'm coming to get you, Sidney, blah, like all that kind of stuff, right? So they decide, okay, let's try to trace the call. Let's lure him into calling us. So they do this TV interview, right? Gail and Sidney do a TV interview. God, Rob, you're going to think I'm making this up, but I swear to God, I'm not. So they're trying to convince him to call. Finally, he calls. He says, well, Sidney, like maybe I'm here with your daughter at this restaurant. And she's like, my daughter isn't there. She's at home. Oh, no. She snuck out of the house and now she's at this restaurant, which she was, right? She's at this bar, this restaurant thing that's supposed to be closed down because the city's under curfew. And so what does Sidney do? Sidney, the mother of this girl that a serial killer has just said, I'm going to go kill your daughter now, and I'm at this place. She goes, I gotta go. Remember, she's at the TV station. And she runs out of the TV station, go to the car, but it's Gail's car. Gail's still inside. She doesn't say, Gail, oh my God, he just threatened my daughter. She just goes, I gotta go. And she runs out of the building, right? So she goes to the car, which is Gail's car. And wouldn't you know it, the car is locked because, of course, she doesn't have the keys. Rob, if your child is being threatened by a mass murderer and they're about 15 minutes away and you realize, oh my God, I can't get into this car because it's my friend's car. Do you A, go in and get your friend and say, we got to get in your car and go save my daughter? Or do you B, do you start running down the street and just hoofing it and run? I'm going to run there. What would you do, Rob? Take the car or would you go run down the street?
I used to run track in junior high school. I ran the mile, actually.
And you still wouldn't have got there faster.
I think it's a wonderful idea to start running.
And in the 15 minutes that she's running, Sidney, by the way, apparently does not skip cardio gay because she's like running 15 minutes. I got to get there. Got to save my daughter. Yeah, I would have been there 10 minutes ago if I just went in and got Gail, but nope, I had to run. You would think, Rob, that in the midst of her run, she would have stopped. Oh, you know what I should do? I should probably call the police. My husband is the chief of police. Maybe I should call the police and say, hey, the serial killer just called me and he's hunting down my daughter and her friends at this restaurant. Maybe you should go check it out. But nope, she doesn't do that. She just keeps running for 15 minutes, stopping once in a while to call her daughter and say, get the gun, it's in the office and blah, 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 blah. Like literally, I'm sitting here going, how? Like at At least, not to insult our intelligence as movie watchers, say they tried to get into Gail's car and somebody sabotaged it, or somebody, slashed the tires and nobody else was there. Do something. But literally, Rob, her daughter was about to get murdered, and instead of just going in, Gail, let's get in the car and go, she literally decided to run 15 minutes to try to get to the thing. And I'm just like, what the hell? And by the way, the city's under curfew. You would think at that point that in the town, there would be some cops patrolling the streets. There's nobody, no traffic, no people, no cops anywhere. Oh, and by the way, there's this one scene where the serial killer is Ghostface. Well, one of the three, there's three Ghostface in this one, and all of them are stupid, but we'll get to that one in a second. So one of the Ghostface gets this kid. He's one of the kids from Gen V. Big kid, 220 pounds, easy, tall, big kid, right? He's actually like 28 years old in real life, but he's a high school kid because that's what we're supposed to believe.
Maybe he was held back.
So the kid is knocked down, almost unconscious, right? Almost unconscious. Now, it turns out that the two remaining ghost faces at this point are a little girl. When I say a little girl, she's one of the girls from the singing movie Pitch Perfect. She's the blonde girl from Pitch Perfect, who is Sidney's next door neighbor. Oh, we'll get into that in a second. And at best, slightly scrawnier than average guy who's like 180 pounds, maybe 170 pounds max. Okay? That's our ghost face at this moment. And he's standing over this big kid on the ground. And I'm going to tell you, Rob, right now, the biggest guy in my UFC gym cannot reach down, grab a 200 plus pound guy by the head who was laying slumped on the floor and lift him up off the ground by the head. Because that's what he does. He lifts him up by the head till he's off the ground like Vader force choking somebody, and then puts his head down on a spike to kill him, right? Okay, cool kill and everything. There is no way this guy, there's no way Ryan Hurst, who's playing Kratos, could literally take dead weight, 200 plus pound guy, grab him by the head and lift him off the ground. But somehow, this skinny little guy summons the power of Mum Ra, the ever fucking living, and said, like, ancient spirits of evil, give me the power of Mum Ra, the ever living. And he reaches down and picks this 200 pound kid up by the head. And I'm like, who are we supposed, who's this? Is this Black Adam? Is Black Adam here? Is that who's doing this? So anyway, the whole thing is all on top of that. But then, Rob, the worst. And by the way, I'm only touching on one out of every 50 stupid things this movie does. But at the end, when it comes time for the reveal. Oh, by the way, before I get to that, let me talk about their use of AI. Turns out Stu's not alive. It's just that the Ghostface team is using AI to make it look like they're Stu talking to Sidney. Rob, AI could do some really interesting things. They do things with AI in this movie that they couldn't do in Star Trek. Okay? That they can't do in 100 years from now. It was just so unrealistic. And how did they explain they did it? Well, one of the Ghostface killers, who used to be an orderly at the local insane asylum, I used to work in IT. Oh, good for you. Good for you. In my best Christian Bale voice. And he can do the most advanced AI that would put ByteDance to shame and put ILM out of work. And he's doing this AI stuff on the fly that is the most ridiculous. Anyway. So then it comes down to the big reveal. Now we're going to find out who are the ghost faces. The first ghost face that dies about halfway through the film, he was some random nobody that we had never met that got ran over, and we found out he was in an insane asylum. He escaped from an insane asylum, but he's still working with the other two ghost faces. Because here's what it turns out. Turns out the other two ghost faces are Sidney's next door neighbor, the girl from Pitch Perfect, who was in one scene earlier in the film, maybe two. like talking to Sid for a second. And turns out she checked herself into an insane asylum once and met this orderly guy and then met the other guy. And the other guy is just an orderly guy, like nothing to do with the movie, was just an orderly. And the girl's motivation was, I was in an abusive marriage and your story, Sidney, inspired me to stand up for myself and I killed my husband. But then you went and hid and now I have to kill you for that. Like, what? And I'm trying to follow this. Oh, and by the way, lady, remember I told you about the guy, Mumra, I summoned the ancient spirits of evil to transform this decrepit form into Mumra. And he lifted that 200-pound kid. The 200-pound kid was her son. Who in the two scenes she was in the movie, they like had a perfectly great relationship. And like Sidney brings up, wait a minute, you killed your son. He was too much like his dad. He was a sweet kid. But they don't even go into it. They just, wait a minute, how do you explain that this Ghostface just killed their own son? Say he was too much like his dad and just leave it at that and let's not explore that at all. Like everything. Oh, and by the way, Joel McHale, remember I told you a little bit earlier in the movie that one of the Ghostfaces inexplicably was able to sneak into the house? And like, he stabs Joel McHale and we all assume he's dead. Joel McHale has been laying with massive internal injuries from big bloody gut shot wounds, stabby stab. And then at the end of the movie, they drag out his body. And then like one of the Ghostface kicks his body and he breathes. Dude's been laying with multiple massive stab wounds in his gullet for hours and bleeding out. But don't worry about it. He's Joel McHale. The power of community saves the day. So Joel McHale's fine, apparently. And then at the end, when they finally do, like, take away, how do they explain this little housewife next door is able to physically do all the things? They throw in one line. After my abusive husband, I started Pilates. That's it. She like one line. I took Pilates. So now I'm able to fall off of multiple story floors and take gunshots and do whatever, get my head bashed against the wall. And I'm fine. It's all good. Don't worry about it. I take Pilates. So anyway, at the end, after they kill all the ghost faces and stuff like that, Joel McHale, they're amazed. He's alive and he's like, he's still practically dying, right? So they load him into the ambulance. And I'm expecting, what would a wife do? What would a spouse do? As you have a dying spouse who basically was dying for you and was multiply stabbed in the gut and was bleeding out, and they load him into the ambulance. Do you get it? Do you A, get into the ambulance with him and go to the hospital? Or do you B, say, I'll be right back, and then go have a heart-to-heart with your friend Gail? Gail, you've always been there. Your husband is bleeding out in an ambulance, and she's like, takes 10 minutes out to go have this heart-to-heart with Gail. Well, let's talk. Isn't your husband dying in that ambulance right now? Yeah, but let's talk. Let's talk a bunch. Let's do some talk. Let's make more talk. Oh, let's get my daughter over here and let's have a three-way talk. And then we'll talk and talk and talk. And then like after about 10 minutes, it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should let them bring my husband to the hospital. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. And go get in the hospital. But Rob, out of all this stuff that I'm mentioning to you here, I am literally just touching the tip of the iceberg. Like the tip of the iceberg. The whole movie is filled with dialogue that I can't, the famous words of Harrison Ford reading some terrible script in one of the Star Wars scripts, and the famous words of Harrison Ford, George, you can write this shit, but you can't say it. And that's like all the dialogue in Scream. In this Scream 7, they have made good Scream movies, Rob. You can make good Scream movies. This is one of the worst films I have ever seen in my fucking life. I don't expect all movies, Rob. We talk about this a lot. I don't expect all movies to follow the normal rules of reality. All I want you to do as a movie is follow your own internal rules of reality. And they don't even do that. And it's like, wait a minute, why is this guy doing this? And then don't even get me going about the drama teacher at the school. And why do you think that kid is one of the Ghostface killers? And like, it just, Rob, I can't. It's really, really bad. And you know what the ironic thing here is? You know what the sad thing here is? I probably just convinced a bunch of people that they have to go see this now for themselves. And you shouldn't. Do not support this movie. Wait till the next Scream movie comes out, because I'm sure they'll make the next one better. And by the way, this is going to have a very big opening weekend, so I'm sure it's going to make money, and I'm sure they'll have a Scream 8. Guys, just skip this one and wait for Scream 8. Wait until they correct the mistakes and go on to Scream 8, because this movie is a giant bag of shit. And in case you missed it, once again, big applause for it. First time, in case you missed it earlier, the first time in 22 years, I have reorganized. The first time in 22 years. I haven't changed this list in 22 years. The unholy trinity of the worst wide release cinematic films in history has a new member. Catwoman is off the list, and it has been replaced by Scream. Battlefield Earth, Highlander 2, and Scream, ladies and gentlemen, are now the 3 worst wide release films in cinematic history. Anyway, Rob, I've gone on for a bit.
That was quite impressive.
I only wish my wife this morning said to me, I wish I could stay because she's off at work. She goes, I wish I could stay at home and do this review with you because I have so much to say. Like, she was mad, like little
Wow.
101 pounds of Filipina fury, my friend. She was mad about watching that movie. Anyway, what have you heard about it, Rob? And where's your interest level right now?
Well, you know, my friend Alvaro is something of a Scream. He's a Scream connoisseur, a Scream expert, and he was a lot more charitable than you were. That's about. But he wasn't that impressed either. So I don't know what to say. I guess I won't have to see it now. I'll just watch your review over and over again.
I kind of want you to
I
see
mean,
it,
I
though.
find it fascinating that
I kind of want you to see it.
Well, one of the architects of this entire franchise was the one that wrote and directed it. So,
yeah, I mean, the guy who directed this film hasn't directed a film in about 20 years. And he's
Right.
only ever directed one film, and that was it. But he has been a veteran writer of this series. So I was like, okay, not a big resume for directing, one film only that he hasn't directed in 20 years, but he knows this franchise as good as anybody. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. But oh my God, he can't even blame the screenwriters.
nope.
He can't even blame the screenwriters on this. It's so bad. Anyway, guys, listen, the beautiful thing about movies is that they are all subjective. Just because I think, I can't emphasize this enough. Just because I think it is absolutely one of the worst films in cinematic history does not automatically mean, in your own twisted perversion, that you may not like it. Maybe you will, and that's not a bad thing. That's the beautiful thing about cinema and films, is that it's art, and art is subjective. And maybe this movie will hit some of you in a way that it clearly did not hit me. And maybe some of the things that are big weaknesses to me, maybe they won't bother you as much. All I can do is speak for myself. And for myself, this is one of the worst pieces of garbage I have ever seen. Anyway, guys, whatever you think about this, go on ahead and leave your comments down below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.